3. Hi there, I'm Dani Henderson. Welcome back to my beautiful channel. My beautiful guest today is my friend in real life. His name is Alex Collier. Alex Collier, welcome, sir.
Lady Henderson, always a pleasure.
So happy to have you. I think it's the 30th of April, but I didn't check. It could be the 31st, who knows? But it is 2024, and there's a lot going on. There are bombs dropping all over the place, but here's one extremely important bomb that comes from the past to the present day, and that is the history, the backstory of this great man here. Now, he's an Andromedan contactee or an Andromedan informer. We'll tell you what that means in a minute. What I will tell you about the Andromedans, they are beautiful, loving, highly intelligent, sensitive beings. They do not like the front row. They do not like the spotlight. Ego do they haveth not. And Alex Collier is living proof of this. Now, sir, please may you regale us with a synopsis as much as is possible for the new people that are coming all of the time who know nothing of the Andromedan love and the legacy that you've brought to this point.
Well, I've been speaking for over 35 years. I've been in the public eye for that long. Most of it is when it wasn't cool, you know, and the whole thing started for me when I was 8 years old in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And they're from the constellation of Andromeda. They're fifth density beings. And they were able to put together a collection of 200 million star seeds from multiple dimensions who have come back in time to this specific period. And what we're doing is making sure that this particular race, this race of royal DNA, has an opportunity to not only survive, but to excel, because it has so much to offer. And, you know, there are many, many people who have had different experiences. And through GISIC and the internet, people are being able to come forward and start telling their stories, because humanity has been led down this path of where they believe that they're alone or they're the only ones in the universe. And that simply isn't true. We are a composite of at least our galaxy, if nothing else. And those of us as souls we're infinite. We've had all kinds of different lifetimes on all kinds of different dimensions. And all of that is coming together now on the surface of the planet for humanity to not only take back its power, but to step into that power and take its rightful place, you know, in the galaxy, in the family of star nations. And, you know, Dani has put together a collection of people through GSIC to share this information with you. And, you know, it's at the right time. So many people are starting to wake up. So many people are figuring it out. You know, you have so much information in past history that's coming to light that proves that the narrative we've been given simply wasn't true. And it hasn't been true. And that the fact of the matter is that many of the gods that the Greeks talk about, that the Romans talked about, that the Old Testament talks about, were in fact extraterrestrials. And it's now our turn to take our place in the galaxy and to teach future generations about who we are, about our history, and about what our full potential is. And, you know, every generation passes the torch on to the next generation. And this is a very critical time where, you know, those of us that are still alive, that have the knowledge, and for those who have passed before us, that their knowledge be not lost, and that we keep passing it on to future generations, and this is called the law of consistency. That's what the Andromedans refer to all the time, is the law of consistency, making sure that every generation has all the information. Nothing's ever held back from them. And, every generation is smarter than the one before it. And there's no beguiling, there's no jealousy. We understand that in order for the species to survive, this is just the way it has to be. So, this is a good thing. This is really, really a good thing. And, G6 all about that. Now, the first Orlando conference, and I have to tell you, out of all the years that I've been doing this and speaking, that was absolutely the best time I've ever had. I felt like I was with family, really, for the first time. And I had already made up my mind that that was going to be my last public appearance. And then I was just like, oh my God, do I do this? Do I not? And I waffled. So I told Dani that I would do it, but I would only do some Q&As. And then I realized, no, I said that I wasn't going to do it anymore. So I pulled out, and that's not on Dani, ladies and gentlemen. That's on me. So if you want to be pissed off with somebody, here I am. Okay, this wasn't on Dani, and I know she's caught some flack for it, but it wasn't on Dani. I'm the one, and she was gracious enough to not guilt me, but just to let me go. And because that was my decision. And it's, it's not easy, but it is what it is. And I did the same thing with Rob Potter. I said, yeah, Rob, I'll do it. And now I'm not. So, and these are two people that I deeply care about, that I've known, that are really, really great people. They're outstanding people. And all they want is for humanity to get it, to understand who we are. Because everything we've been told about ourselves has been bullshit, pure and simple. And then she's given you this great lineup of speakers who are just remarkable human beings. And, and I know for GSIC, the best is yet to come. So, but, that's the story. And yeah, retirement's busy, but it's also extremely boring. And I'm very content. I'm very content just doing my little webinars, and an interview here and there. And, I've passed the torch on to the younger generations, and it's their ball now. They're flying with it, And the thing is that when you decide to take flying lessons, one of two things happen. You'll either land on your feet when you make the jump, or you will learn how to fly. The crew at GSIC has learned how to fly. And now it's your turn, ladies and gentlemen, to go to the conferences, to learn as much as you can, so that when you make the jump, you will either land on your feet or you will learn how to fly. And that's what it's going to take, for humanity to make this big turn. We have to let go of the old ways, the old world, the matrix, because what they did was they convinced us to create this prison, and that's what we did. We created our own prison, and now we have to let it all go, let it crumble, so that we can build a world where we are truly free and sovereign. And that's where we're at as a collective.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
I don't know if there's any more, but that's what it is. And again, the withdrawal from GSIC this year here in Colorado is me. It's me. And I mean, I live here, but I love the anonymity. Nobody knows who I am here, and I like that. So Anyway, that's what it is. Okay. So don't be mad at her.
Don't be mad at me and don't be calling me a tranny
That's
or giving
right.
me death threats
That's
because,
right.
well, one of
You
the
lay off, you lay off my girl. You understand?
yeah.
You come to me. Bring that shit to me.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you. No, it's great. No, there's nothing like having the source relay the truth, right? The source of origin, and it cuts out the gossip and the, well, what about this and what about that? Because of the programming of the intention to give us all horror thoughts, upsetting thoughts, and try and separate and divide, which is the plan of the deletes, the powers that want it to be, that are now getting their asses kicked and disseminated and dismantled. Now a lot of people are now waking up to, wow, that's an old program, to fight, to criticize, to condemn. But then when we put TV on and watch all the reality shows, all we see is women in particular fighting each other and scrabbling, and men trying to outdo each other. But the reality is, none of that matters if we go to the source. Where do we resonate? What do we feel? What is the harmonic from that person? Does anything they say resonate with us? And Alex, you have been the leading light and voice and harmonizer and frequency for so long, for such a long time. And you get cross with me and I get cross with you when you don't accept how loved you are, and you're like, I've passed the baton, I've retired, Dani, go away, Dani. But it's true, and I said to you before we went live that I reckon you could fill a stadium with the amount of people who deeply, deeply love you. I'm going to say something about that, about the love. And there was a woman that wrote to me really upset, Tamara, who said that I had used you to sell tickets. Now, of course I didn't, and here is the proof. You're here answering for yourself, and I would never do that. But that has happened. Over your career, people they've pimped you out. They've bounced checks, they've lied, they've used you, they've sold tickets on your back. Let's address that for a second. How wrong and evil is that? How corrupt is that?
Well, it's systemic of the whole system, to take advantage of anyone and everyone whenever they can in order to chase, the greenback. It's a terrible thing because that's a real consciousness of lack to do shit like that. And you know, uh, hopefully that's going to change. And only people can do that. Only people can make those decisions themselves, not to do that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I did gigs where I drove all the way there and the check bounced, so I had to borrow money to get home. I mean, it's been quite an interesting journey, you know. And like you said earlier, I had people send me emails. Well, just the book itself, Defending Sacred Ground. I had a nurse send me an email. This is when email was new. We were still using pagers. I would love to buy the book from you, and if you could sign it. And I'm like, well, what book? You know, and John Robinson, the late John Robinson, had sent some videos to a friend to transcribe, and he put it together and sold it as a book. We had no idea he was even doing it, so there's been an interesting cast of characters in this arena for a very long time. There have been a lot of good people, and we've lost a lot of good people who just, age caught up with them, or disease, or, other things. But, this is what it is. And I think if humanity can get its identity, it'll know where to go. It'll know what direction to take itself. Because inherently, we all have some common sense. And that common sense will tell us where it is we need to go once we truly realize who we are. The foundation of humanity, what is it? You have the Bible saying we were a creation in the Garden of Eden. That's, there's some elements of truth to that, but not the whole story by far. And then you have science saying that we were just a pool of chemicals and we were a mistake. You know, somewhere in there is the actual reality. And that's the information that's coming out now. You know, how can we be a mistake when we can literally create waves of gravity that form DNA? How can that be a mistake? You know, how come frogs can't do that? Right? I mean, if we're a mistake, why aren't frogs doing that? No, that's not what they're doing. So if you really want to know who you are, you really want to know where you're going, if you really want to create a genuine future for your children, your grandchildren, and great grandchildren, so on and so forth, then now is the time to pay attention to all of this information that's coming out. There is a, you know, for every season, there is a time for information and for reflection. And this is the time. If you're watching the world crumble, the old world crumble, there's a reason for it. It's because it was a slave system. And it's being brought down because it no longer serves humanity in any way. And humanity has to rise and rise again until lambs become lions. It's time for all of us to become the lions and take our place, take back our personal power, and above all, generate sovereignty for every single one of us on this planet. And we can do it. I know we can do it. You just have to know who you are. I mean, who you genuinely are, you know? And you also have to know about how much personal power you have, the ability to create your future, to create what you want, and to actually go after that and discipline yourself to consistently go after what it is that you want. But you have to define what you want. You have to clearly define what that is. And if you all can do that, you can take your life anywhere you want to go. So, you know, a lot of this is old school. This is old school. And you know, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater ever. And there's a lot of old school that needs to circle back because it's right and it works. You can change the language, but the process is still old school. You know, with hard work, you can get anywhere and achieve anything you want. You just never can quit. You just can't quit. You can never quit on yourself. If you quit on yourself, why are you here? Simple. It really is. So, you know, I'm doing all the talking.
Well, we want you to, because again, like the last three GISICs, if I can get you on the stage, or at least even in the audience, which is going to happen this year, you'll be there at GISIC, which is Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection, which has become the greatest conference in disclosure on our planet with the greatest speakers. There are some, we can't have everyone on stage. There's not enough time, there's not enough days, but we have the very best of people who are literally in contact with ET beings and real contact with the technology that's going to help our planet flourish, and hidden technology that we are all exposing, and we can't see everything online because of the boob tube police and the policing of the internet. So we have this conference where 1,000+ people come together, starseeds, soul family, people who are the weird one, the black sheep, they don't fit in, they don't belong here, and they come to our conference this year, September 27, 28, 29, Colorado, Denver. Denver's the nearest airport, and then it's a 25-mile drive to Westminster. Lovely energy, amazing hotel, massive skyscape. Every year we've had UFO craft come in, haven't we, Alex?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. In fact, you know, there have been a couple in the crowd. And those of us who have met them, we know, you know, that they're there because we know the difference of their frequency. You know, yeah, there was some in Orlando that first year. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay, so
You
share
know,
a story from their
yeah,
first year in
plus
2022.
plus Space Force. You know, a lot of Space Force people are there, which is cool. You know, which is really really cool. Well, there was a couple there, a man and a woman. There was another woman, I don't know if she was attached to them or not. And if you know anything, if you've experienced off-world energies, then you recognize it immediately. You might walk by somebody and say, well, they were different, but just how different. And when you've been in the presence of other extraterrestrials, you know the difference, and you can tell by the level of the high frequency of who they are. And yeah, there were some there, and they made themselves known to a couple of us there, which was interesting. So, am I keeping you awake?
No, I coughed. I muted to cough. You
Oh, okay.
bugger.
I thought you were yawning.
No, oh my God. With you on screen, are you a crazy person? Yeah, like I was saying, we love Alex. Any chance we have to get you on a screen, talking, listening to, on a stage, of course, there is always going to be this need, this want, and this desire, but obviously respect, because, mate, you are battle weary. I mean, you have been carrying, the baton for all of us. You have influenced so many of us who are now on the front line with you and beside you. I'd love you to validate in your own, without me obviously prompting or blackmailing or paying you, to say just a couple of people who, in your honest opinion of this life you've lived thus far, who really in touch with ETs, who's bringing real information. Just a couple of names, if you like.
Well, I do know people who have not come forward, so I will not include those. But those who are in the light, those who are out there, um, certainly JP, certainly Elena, certainly um, Jean Charles and his wife Melanie. I'm not sure I should even say this name, but definitely Tony, though
Yes,
he doesn't talk about it.
Tony
You know,
Rodriguez.
yeah, Tony Rodriguez. There's a lot more going on there, and I get where he's coming from. He's he's starting with this, and he's just putting his toe in the water, and it's still just the big toe. And he's a really awesome guy. Um, I think I think Lee Merritt has met some, but she may not know it, or if she does, she's never going to say it out loud, only because of the information that she's being given or that comes to her. Um, it's kind of off the charts, which is great because the truth is far more interesting than the fiction. And let's see, who else is out there? Marcella, that you and I talked about earlier. No question about what she's doing.
Let's say her name.
Although her group
We'll say
her
her
group is
name.
outside, huh?
We'll say her full name for people. Marcela Valquez. Marcela.
Valquez, Marcella Valquez. Um, she's here in Colorado. She's in contact with a group outside of our galaxy in the Andromedan galaxy. And she's here opening and closing ancient portals. That's what her mission is.
Mm.
And she's very, very good at it. Um, although, again, she's another one who's got a little pinky toe in the water, you know, because she's watched, those of us before get the shit kicked out of us.
And she's such
Um,
a gentle spirit too, a typical Andromedan
yeah,
energy.
she's great. She's great.
You know what's so beautiful about everyone you mentioned there, apart from Marcella, who hasn't spoken at GISIC, is everyone you mentioned, Elena Danan, Tony Rodriguez, Jean-Charles Moyen, Melanie Charret. Did you know that Dr. Lee Merritt is speaking at GISIC this year? Did you know
Yeah,
that? Okay.
Christine World told me that the other day.
Sorry, and Dr. Christiane Northrup, the two incredible
Yeah.
military and, medicinal. I mean, we can't say their names. Every time I say Dr. Christiane's full name, I get a strike. So we're having them on stage where they can disclose so much about the medical industry,
Sure.
military mafia. But yeah, those names you mentioned as people you deeply trust, they're all speaking on the GISIC stage, Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection stage. It holds a lot of, your word, your voice, your truth. It holds so much weight with people. And you are one of the few that I personally trust. And you've been such a Godhead is the wrong word because that would just make you butt clench, but a leader, in whistleblowing. I mean, you went where, people were so afraid to be ridiculed. People that went out like you did from the years that you first connected with Andromedans, Phaseus and Mornay, were banged up in an institution, were put on medicines, were Ritalined into silence, So again, you really have been holding and leading for such a long time. And it is exhausting. And you have taken so many public beatings. But it makes me happy to know how loved you are. Truly, truly, how loved you are.
Well, thank you. Somebody else that I don't know is having physical contact, but definitely is being given information, and that would be Laura Eisenhower. Um, she's brilliant. Her mind works so fast. You're at a full gallop trying to keep up with her, you know. Um, and I'm sure there's others that I'm missing at the moment. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, there's a lot, and there'll be a lot more coming forward, and this is the time to do it. We're watching the world change in front of us, and people shouldn't be scared. They shouldn't be scared to see the old world crumble when they fully realize what it was and what it was doing to our spirit. They'll know to let it go. And the world is going to be going through a reset. Except the people will decide what kind of a world we live in, as opposed to a few corporations and a handful of world bankers.
Mm-hmm.
We the people will be making the decisions about what kind of a world we live in. And that's the way it's supposed to be done. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, to quote Spock from Star Trek. And that's never more relevant than it is today.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so disregarding, dismissing, defunding, erasing the WHO, the World Health Organization, and the WEF, especially the WEF and Davros and those Muppets, Clown Schwab and his puppets, they have no place on my planet. They have no place in leadership. Nobody put them there but themselves. We didn't vote for them, so they can just bugger the hell off. We, the people, take back our planet. We stand strong, we link arms together, and we all decide and we all create the world we want. And it will never be one world government. It will never be one prime minister, one person in charge of people. There's no savior coming. Trump is not the global savior. It is all of us together collectively, isn't it? Healing with self, our inner child, healing our whole life journey, and deciding together as a humanity, as a species, how we're going to live this life. If you look at the Muppets, like Bill Gates, for example, unbelievable insanity, burying trees. Are you completely Looney Tunes? Of course you are. Who would try to physically, ecologically interfere with the harmony and balance of this planet, of an actual planet? Not only does that Muppet brain and his friends want to bury trees, which are the photosynthesis, they're the breath of the planet. They're trying to blot the sun out as well with chalk, because all the rays, all the cows farting. It's all such insanity and bollocks. And it's a joke at this point that the people must see through. They must think this through. That if you bury trees, what's going to happen? Stop listening to science of the last 4 years. If you blot the sun out, well, the planet's going to die. Why would someone or some group of people want to change the environment on a planet to enslave it and change the species. It's very obvious when you take a moment to think it through, right, my love?
They wanted to terraform the planet for another race, and they were in the
Oh no,
process of trying to change humanity's DNA to become something that it was never intended to be. That's all that would have been left. But that plan's not going to happen. It's not going to go through.
that's right.
So, we have a lot of help. The Alliance and Solar Warden, boots on the ground. It's all good. And that's why people need to start paying attention. They absolutely have to start paying attention. And it doesn't mean you have to go talk about it with your neighbors or your family, but you yourself need to know what is going on here because it's in front of you. It's all right in front of you. It's all happening all the time. So we'll see. That's all we can do, one mind at a time, sadly, but that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know we were gonna the guys out there watching and listening, there's so much information on the great man here. Alex, I'd never personally, until I met you years ago, even heard or conceived of the idea that real UFO, extraterrestrial off-planet craft, could be 900 miles long. I mean, this is a reality, but people's program goes straight to NASA. Stop listening to NASA, for goodness sake.
Well, it stands for never a straight answer, actually.
Exactly.
But if you the Ringmasters of Saturn, which is an old book that was put together by someone who worked for NASA, there are mining craft in the rings of Saturn. I believe it's in the B ring that is over 10,000 miles long. And what they do is they collect the debris and they mine the minerals. And it's been there for tens of thousands of years. So, you know, once you have achieved anti-gravity, you can build anything you want, as big as you want. Um, there's no limit to our ability to manifest what it is we want once you understand, you know. So there's nothing but good things ahead for humanity. But there's this bridge we have to cross, and that is removing the matrix, removing all these belief systems that have captured us and our minds and our souls. And then once we get to the other side, we have to begin to rebuild humanity, you know, and the planet itself. We have to take all this technology that's been suppressed and integrate much of it, maybe not all of it, but much of it into, creating a planet that has all the energy it needs, all the clean air that it has, all the clean water that we need to drink. We can take this technology and become responsible custodians and partners with the planet, and she'll take care of us and we take care of her. It's a symbiotic relationship. And we can begin the process of traveling the stars. And the bottom line is this: if we can't live with each other here, they're not going to let us go out there. We're not going to take this bullshit out there. No, 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 not going to happen. So we have to get our acts together. And with the disclosure of the truth about our past and who we are, I think a lot of the BS, the behaviors that we have been taught will all fall away. That most of us will let it all go, if not all of us will just let that behavior go, because we will realize that we were taught this to keep us divided from each other. So we could not excel and take our place in the galaxy. Bottom line. We are not these sinful creatures we've been told. We're not. We are genetic royalty. And it's time everybody grasps that. So you have to pay attention though. Whatever time you have in your life, take 15, 20 minutes, an hour a day, or 3 hours a week, or whatever it is that you can do, and do some research. Listen to these people, and you're going to gravitate to what you resonate with. And if you don't resonate with it, that's fine. That doesn't mean you give up the search. You keep looking and you keep researching, and you will find the information you resonate to. And after you have grasped it and you've integrated that information, then you will let go of that person and move on to the next that you resonate to. And that's a normal process, you know? And that's just how it works. But you keep going, and each person will have different information that you resonate to in a fashion and in a way that you're meant to take it in, so that at some point you will build this body of knowledge and you will know exactly what to do, where to go, who to talk to, and how to share the information in your own way. That's just the way of it, and everybody's different. No two of us are the same. Doesn't mean we can't agree on stuff. We'll just see it in a different way and process it in a different way. And that frequency will change who we are. So it's all a good thing. It is. Lady Henderson, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing me to, share this time with you and to clear the air about my retirement. And I wish everybody, I wish they had enough seats to fill that stadium. I do, for GSIC. Maybe one day, maybe one day. And whatever I can do to support you and the team over there, all you have to do is let me know. And I
Yeah.
will definitely do it in September.
You'll be there. You will be there
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
were last year
I'll
and
be
the
there.
year before.
I'll be there. I'll be there chillaxing.
Relaxing. Are you going to bring your beautiful Merlin with you?
I don't know. He's a handful right now. He's in season,
Oh.
and there's a very cute little Yorkshire Terrier
Oh.
at the dog park who's in season, and he is beside himself. He is absolutely beside himself because he hasn't been neutered.
Oh, wow. Bless him, bless him. Wow.
Yeah, so it's been interesting to say the least.
Oh my goodness. Well, wonderful. Well, in the meantime, Alex, again, thank you so much for everything. I am going to put a broadcast under this one, something you and I did on Rumble a while ago, where it was the very first time in your life that you were ready and able to deliver information, horrific information of past gray and reptilian atrocities. And we recorded on Rumble because it's too much to put on BoobTube, but I will put the link, guys, so you can go back and watch that Alex did with me. And I am beyond excited and thrilled and so honored that you will be with us again in the audience this year at the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection, September 27, 28, 29. Get your tickets, guys. We've got a couple of different tickets. One includes the disco and the dinner. There's only a few of those left. And the other one is the main ticket that has obviously access to vendors and Skywatch with the craft coming in. There's always ETs in the audience, certainly on the stage too. Jerry Wills, I didn't mention his name. Jerry Wills is a full-blown physical ET, a beautiful
Yes,
man.
you're right. I
Love
totally
her.
forgot about him.
I did
Well,
too,
I didn't know about
Jerry.
the question, but I didn't. Is Jerry going to be there this year?
Yes, he's physically going to be there. Last year,
Yes, I'd love to meet him.
yes, he's going to be there
Yes,
with his wife, Kathy. They will be there, definitely. Yeah, he's a beautiful man. He's
that's
another one.
exciting.
Yeah, he told me he went to a
Yeah,
conference once and he ended up
yeah,
speaking for 5 hours. People
yeah.
were just
Jerry,
agog
Jerry's
at
a legend. Yeah, Jerry's a legend, and um, I know of Jerry. My first exposure to Jerry was many, many decades ago when he was in Utah and they were finding where some of the giants had been buried, you know, and I was just like, wow, that's amazing stuff. So I would love to meet him. I'm so excited about that. Maybe you can introduce me.
Of course, of course.
Oh, I would.
I posted a photograph yesterday of you and I and Tony Rodriguez when we were at Shasta, and I grabbed Tony and I'm like, come on, meet Alex Collier. And threw him on the table with us, and someone took a picture. It was a great, I think Ashley Lee took that picture. I posted that on Facebook. I also wanted to tell people as well, while we are fully disclosing everything that we can, when I say, come on, don't just look at NASA, because that's the reality. We've been guided to one God, one authority. It's all bollocks. So on my channel here, go and look at the interview I did with Dan Willis, who will tell you how we make frill, which is universal etheric energy, frill energy with crystals, silver and copper, frill. This is how the upstairs people power up their homes and their living situations. This will be in every home at one point. A beautiful crystal powered up that will run your heat, your light, your everything. We should never have been paying an electric bill. Don't get me started on that. Secondly, if you want to know how to work, how to fly, how to build, how to create an anti-gravitational core power flying craft, on the same broadcast is Elena Danan, who gives all the information and the schematics and the actual technology. We invite you. It's open source, guys. The information is there. You might be wondering why this channel, Dani Henderson, Jisik, isn't got millions and millions of subscribers, because the boob tube police keep stealing my subscribers, trying to hold the information. But no, Nelly, no, no, no. So that's why we have Jisik as well, the Galactic Spiritual Informers Conference, because we need to bring everyone together, all the information, full disclosure, uncensored, on stage, where the internet police cannot ban us or block us. So do come one and all. Alex Collier, I friggin' love you, man, so much. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for coming and honoring. And if there's any final words that you have, I mean, gosh, you've said so much beauty, but if there's any final words for people, please let us know.
Figure out what you want and go after it. Don't quit. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Anything else would be redundant for what I've already said. So, but thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege as always. And I will see you in September, if not sooner.
Lovely. Thank you, Alex Collier. Thank you so
Danny.
much. For you guys out there, to see Alex every week, pretty much 3 times a month, you can go on his webinar. He does not hold back. He is full disclosure on everything that's happening on the planet. Fridays. And his website is alexcollier.org. If you want it, that's where you get it. No, that way. Bloody Zoom, that way. Alex Collier. He's there. He's everywhere, where he should be. All right. Thank you, guys up there. My name is Dani Henderson. Thank you for gracing me with your presence, and to see the great man here, Alex Collier. Send you my love, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Danny. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Love you.